What people in North Carolina want is more opportunity. If it's like the chief that's coming in from Batcave, and we're so glad to have him as a guest tonight, he's going to hear that he is, along with everybody in the 25 western counties, remembered by President Trump. When you see the Democrats who did not vote to extend DHS funding and essentially shut it down, they're not just shutting down ICE like they think about. They're shutting down DHS, they're shutting down FEMA, they're shutting down TSA, they're shutting down the Coast Guard, and that's irresponsible. And to my colleague, respectfully, and by the way, you think about divisions here in Washington, D.C., we get along as far as riding in elevators and occasional friendships, but we could not agree more on policy. I mean, this is a president who was overwhelmingly elected by the American people, and he is living up to his promises. And Trump won, and Trump, President 2, when in his second term, he's got a whiteboard. He's marking these promises off. And so when he says he wants more opportunity for the American people, he's doing that. If that's tariffs and if that's funding for people in Western North Carolina, that's what he's concerned about.
Well, the American people, Senator, may have elected the president. Thank you for being here with us today. Yet polling consistently shows they are not necessarily happy with the job that he's doing now that he's back in office. A 60% disapproval rating, Senator, when you consider the fact that there is a Senate seat up for grabs in your state of North Carolina. Does that kind of number not concern you as we get closer to the midterms?
Well, you think about hockey, and I think we're going to have some special guests for hockey tonight. You always want to skate where
Indeed.
the puck is going. And if you look at what the One Big Beautiful Bill or the working families tax cut, that President Trump supported, that's going to put more money back in people's pockets. And what Trump was very smart to do in this term is to work on taxes right out of the gate. The Democrats could not be more opposed to this. But President Trump gave them the largest tax in recent history, largest tax cut in recent history, and the Democrats voted for the largest tax increase in recent history. So I think people are going to start feeling more money in their pocket. They want to know that there's certainty, that they're safe, and that's what President Trump's doing, whether it's international or whether it's in someone's hometown. I think President Trump's policies are what are making more money or putting more money in people's pockets.
You serve on some important committees, Senator, as we remind our audience, including the Armed Services Committee. What are you hearing about the president's plans for Iran? We know that there's another round of talks set for Thursday. The president has reportedly been considering a bloody nose strike to increase leverage at the table. That would suggest the potential for a strike in the next 24 to 48 hours. Do you believe that he would announce strikes against Iran tonight?
I wouldn't put a timeline on the president. I think the president is operating in good faith. He's doing everything he can to come to a peaceful resolution to end the Ayatollah regime that's been there since 1979. It's slaughtered its own people. He is standing with the Iranian freedom lovers and against this awful regime which chants death to America and death to our allies. So I think he's giving them a chance. If you look at the precision of the strike with Operation Midnight Hammer last summer, I think that's what he wants. He does not want to send American troops into harm's way, but the bottom line is to protect American life, and that's what he wants to do. If he feels there's a threat or that Iran, which chants death to America, has a nuclear threat, then he'll take action. But again, he wants to give peace a chance, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Well, if he opts for something beyond just a precision strike, if this turns into a more durable, prolonged conflict, does he need to ask your permission as a United States Senator, the permission of the United States Congress?
If it's prolonged, but I don't think that's what President Trump wants. He does not want American boots on the ground. He likes precise, decisive victories like we saw with Operation Midnight Hammer, like we saw with in Venezuela. In January. So I think he wants quick action, no boots on the ground, and a decisive win for American forces and the American people.
Secretary of State and the CIA director, as I'm sure you well know, Senator, are briefing the Gang of Eight on Iran today at the White House. Do you have a sense of what they are going to learn, or will they bring you information that you might not have seen or heard yet?
No, I think they want the latest. Are we seeing? And one of the things we've seen is that money is starting to flow out of the country. And I think that just shows how dishonest the Iranian leaders are for their own people, and also shows them that they're very scared of American forces and our precise strike capabilities. So we're going to learn more, but again, that's contained among a group of 8, and I think they're going to get all that they need to know. But again, you don't want to disseminate that too further, and you want to preserve the right for the president to do what he needs to do.